What's up, guys? Today I wanted to give a quick tip on the number one thing that I think photographers can do to get better. I get asked all the time, how can I get better faster? And in today's day and age, that's what everybody wants. I remember when I used to play golf all the time, I had a buddy, he always had all of these little gimmicky things that he would buy and try to make him better, and most of them didn't work. And it's like that with a lot of things in the world today. People just want everything instantaneously. They don't want to work for it. And unfortunately, when it comes to photography, yes, there is a ton of good information online. There is a ton of good content that you can consume. There's good YouTube videos, good books, good workshops, all that stuff. But there's a lot to be said for just experience, getting out and shooting. And I think that's the biggest mistake that a lot of photographers make is they get a subject matter that they want to shoot, and that's all they want to shoot is that subject matter. When they don't have the opportunity to shoot that subject matter, they just don't shoot at all. I was looking at my Lightroom catalog from my first 10 months that I shot the other day, and I have 52,000 images in that first 10 months where I was getting serious about shooting. And that's just what I had left. I used to be kind of stupid, and I kept everything on my computer hard drive, and when it would fill up, I'd go through it and start deleting pictures because I had no more hard drive space. I estimate I probably shot 70 to 80,000 pictures my first 10 months. That's over 200 images a day, and literally I did shoot every single day, and I didn't always have something exciting to shoot. I took somebody out shooting the other day because he wanted to get out and get some access to some events that he was kind of denied the opportunity to shoot in the past, and he asked if he could tag along with me, and I said sure, and I took him out and we shot these events. And we were done. He was talking about all these workshops and webinars and this and that he had been, that he had taken part in, and he asked me what I suggested he do to get better, and I told him get out and shoot more. And his response to me was, well, I don't have cool stuff like you do to shoot. He goes, I don't have access to the sporting events. I don't have access to the plays and the awards ceremonies and all of these different things that you shoot at. And I said, look, when I started, I didn't have access to that stuff. And I reminded this guy, I go, dude, you live on 20 acres of land. You've got farm animals, crops, old tractors, all kinds of cool stuff to shoot. And he's like, but I want to shoot people. And while I understand that, my explanation to him was, even when you're shooting things that are outside your comfort zone, you can learn. And every opportunity that you have to go out and photograph something is an opportunity to learn something, even if it's not the subject matter that you're most comfortable with or you have the biggest desire to shoot. I can't tell you the number of times that I shot the most mundane objects and I learned from it. I would do things like take my kids' toys in the backyard and go out and shoot and realize, oh, you know what, if I put them in front of the bright reflective aluminum garage door, this is what it's going to do to my histogram. Or, if I shoot right next to the grass, I'm going to get a green color cast on something. All kinds of stuff. My first year, I didn't have interesting stuff to shoot. I wasn't getting paid to shoot. I was just somebody trying to learn photography. I remember when I got my first flash, and I ran around trying to shoot everything in the world with flash, and my kids, probably like your kids, they don't want to pose for pictures for me, which I don't understand because my kids are constantly in the bathroom mirror. I don't know where my phone is, but they're standing there with their camera like this, looking in the bathroom mirror, taking selfies of themselves with their shirt on to post to Snapchat. And I asked them to pose for a picture for me, and they're like, that's stupid, I don't want to take pictures. I completely don't understand kids these days, but I can't get my kids to pose. So what would I do? When I was trying to learn bounce flash, I started snapping pictures of them when they were playing their Xbox. I would just practice bouncing my flash off of the different walls, the television, whatever. And my kids would get mad at me and say, Dad, stop. And I would just tell them, well, you want to go in the backyard and take pictures? All right, just go ahead and snap your pictures, whatever, And I would take pictures of the most ridiculous things. And all of these little exercises that I did, it helped me to learn. One thing that I used to do a lot was in our backyard where where we have like a little canopy, a little patio area, there's wooden posts, and I would take pictures of the wooden posts from different distances. Sorry, I forgot my words today. From different distances, at different focal lengths, at different apertures, and I would just check to see, okay, if I'm at this aperture and this focal length, I'm going to get one post in focus, and then if I'm at this distance and this aperture, two are going to be out of focus. And what I was trying to learn was I was trying to learn how different settings affected my depth of field. And my family used to look at me like I was crazy. They're like, "What are you doing? You know, you're taking pictures of these wood posts. You're retarded." And I would do this all the time. I would go different places. If I'd see a bunch of orange cones in the road, I would snap pictures. And what I was trying to do was I was trying to estimate, once I understood how my depth of field began to work, I began trying to just estimate, okay, if I'm this far away, this is what my depth of field is going to be. Because when I first started doing portraits, I would pose people in a certain situation and I would have to snap a picture and I'd go, oh, you know what? The background's too in focus. We need to move you. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to get to where I could just gauge that distance without actually having to take a picture. And I took hundreds of pictures like this of just, you know, random objects that were in a row, just so that I could get a fundamental strong understanding of my depth of field. Now I don't have to waste my time taking pictures. Most of the time I can walk into a situation and say, nope, that background's not going to work. This is going to reflect, or that's too close, or whatever the case may be. And I'm not the best photographer in the world, and sometimes I still make mistakes, but just by going out and shooting these mundane things, just constantly doing these exercises, it helped me to become a better photographer. Because I get asked by a lot of people, I got involved in photography. There was a couple of friends of mine that got involved in photography at the same time. And, you know, I got really obsessed and probably too obsessed with it and really serious about it. And they sit there and they ask me, they're like, how did you get so good so quick? And we're still way back here on step 2 and you're at step 10. And it's just because, you know, they went out and they shot once a month, once every other month, whatever the case may be, whereas I was shooting every single day. And some of them took webinars and went to workshops and things like that, things I didn't do because I didn't want to spend money, because I am incredibly cheap. I've got too many kids. I don't have the money to really spend on classes. So I really think that if you really want to get better, the best way to get better is just go out and shoot. Get outside your comfort zone, shoot anything and everything, not just the things that you enjoy shooting. For example, I'm not a big landscape photographer, but there was a period where I thought stock photography might be something I would be interested in doing for about 5 whole minutes. And I went out and I did all these landscapes and different shots and things like that. And, you know, I quickly realized that it didn't work for me, but I remember I took this one shot and there were these weeds that were there, these out of focus little weed things. You know, those little weeds, they kind of look almost like a wheat plant, and they've got those little stickers that get stuck in your sock. Well, I remember in a photograph that I took that those pictures out of focus looked really nice out of focus. The colors looked really nice. And ever since then in my portrait photography, I will pose people with those in the background. And every time that I do it, people look at me like I'm crazy. They're like, you want me to stand? Look, don't you see these weeds that are here in the background? It's going to look terrible. And just last weekend, I did the same thing. And the client didn't want to pose where I wanted to pose them. Her family was like, those weeds back there are going to look terrible. I finally got them, just trust me, go ahead, pose here. And then after I took the pictures and I showed the family, they were like, wow, those things look really nice. The colors look really nice out of focus back there. And they told me, you really know what you're doing, don't you? And I was like, well, that's why you guys are paying me to be here. And my point is I learned that by going out and doing some landscape photography. And I didn't really have a passion for landscape photography. I still don't. It's not something I dislike. It's just not something I'm passionate about. But it translated into my portrait photography, and now it's kind of in my tool bag that I know if I see these kind of brown weeds, if I can knock them out of focus, they're going to look really nice in the background. And so my point is could I have learned that through a workshop or watching a YouTube video? Maybe somebody else came across this and mentioned it. Maybe, maybe not. But I was able to learn it just by going out and getting outside my comfort zone and just taking pictures, and a lot of pictures. And that's the number one tip that I can give to anybody who's trying to improve their photography. Just go out, shoot more pictures. Every image you take is an opportunity to learn. So I hope that helps anybody out. If you guys do have any questions about photography or anything else, philosophy, life, whatever you guys want to know, I know everything. Okay, maybe not, but I hope it helps you guys out. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.